This meeting is being recorded.
So Vinod, I would appreciate if you could start with your introduction.
Yeah, my name is Vinod Rawat. I'm an application developer with around more than 10 years of experience into Java Gateway platform.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
Okay, okay. And I had most of my experience was into the microservices API development, and I have around 7 years of experience into Spring Boot microservices API application development. And in my previous project, I worked most on the migration of the legacy monolithic applications into the Spring Boot microservices architecture, and uh, for that I have handled many of the legacy applications which were of different platform segments, running on the VAS platform, running on the JSF platforms, running on the EJBs, some SOAP applications. So I have done migration of multiple applications, uh, such kind of applications, and for after completing the migration and converting into the Spring Boot microservices architecture and developing multiple APIs, we also migrated the application into the Spring Cloud platform, and later on we moved into the AWS API Gateway platform. And finally, in the final stage of the migration, we moved the application into the ROSA platform. ROSA is nothing but the platform as a service applications, uh, Red Hat OpenShift on AWS. So we migrated it to the ROSA, and it had the inbuilt Kubernetes. So that helped us to scale up the application, scale down the application, and all everything could manage, and also help you with the blue-green deployment. So,
Okay. So how much
and
you have been involved into? I see you are talking about your Kubernetes experience and all this, containerization, Dockerization, and all. How much you have been involved into? How much you have been involved into this DevOps side, creating CI/CD pipelines and all? Because the team is doing heavy migration from on-prem, I would say, the data center, which is written in WebLogic and Java 8 to OpenShift. So this OpenShift experience is definitely going to be very helpful. Now I would like to understand, like, what are m- how much you are involved into CI/CD and DevOps side, because this is the
yeah,
major component.
that is true. On the CI/CD pipeline, we had a dedicated DevOps team that had helped us to create the initial pipelines, and we just customize it on top of that based on our application needs. Uh, and those kind of we designed various stages of the GitLab CI/CD pipeline,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and we dockerized the application and integrated with the CI/CD pipeline, and
Mm-hmm.
then deployed it to the ROSA. I mean, a couple of stages we had written uh, for the migration efforts for deployment into the ROSA. So in the initial stages, we had the deployment into the PCF environment, and uh, then we moved into the ROSA as the customer needs arised, and they had moved into the OpenShift platform, and they wanted to leverage the AWS uh, flexibility as well, along with the Kubernetes. So so those kind of things I have performed, and apart from this, internally, I have pushed the application into the. We had a pattern called the blue-green deployment into ROSA.
Wow.
So for that,
This man,
so
the person who got the offer, he did the same. He was working on Blue Prism deployment. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
I
So
don't
if I
know. I
tell you
don't
the
know.
name, you would definitely know him, but I'm not going to disclose it
So
unless
which team
I
he
cannot
was part
disclose
of?
anything. I'm sorry. But he was from State Farm. He has been with State Farm for almost 10 years. So yeah, I will let you know.
Oh,
I will in fact help you.
oh,
Don't worry.
oh, that's cool. Good. That would be helpful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I will help you. Don't worry. So how much you have been involved into Spring security? I see you have listed a lot of security, JWT tokens and all.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes.
can you talk a little bit about it?
Yes. So yeah, for the authentication side, we had to use the Azure Entra ID. So the Entra ID server used to generate us the JWT token, and then we use the JWT tokens to extract. I mean, what roles the user had, right? And using that role, we had configured our role-based access into our Spring Boot microservices, and we either authorize into the application or not. And this is the authentication authorization that we had used, we had implemented into Spring Boot micro. And apart from that, we had also implemented the CORS. CORS is nothing but cross-origin resource sharing. So what it does is that it restricts the request from a particular domain only. So we configure the domains that these domains are only allowed to access our service APIs. So
Mm-hmm.
only those domains. These were additional layer of security that has been added into the.
Very nice.
Uh,
Very nice. So what are the versions of Java you have worked so far?
I have used Java 7, 8. Then we moved to 11, and in the last stages we moved to Java 17.
Okay. Very nicely mentioned Java 7 because I have seen people not mentioning. But now, if I talk about Java 7 to Java 8, what are the major changes like Java traditional version to Java 8? What are the major changes you have found?
I mean, lambdas, we have functional interfaces. These concepts
Excellent.
were there.
Excellent. Have you used Steam's also Steam API?
Yes, Stream APIs I have used.
Very
A
nice.
lot of times I
So
have used.
I got one question for you on same Stream API. How would you differentiate sequential streams and parallel streams? You heard my question?
Yes, I have heard. Probably it's out of my mind right now. I might have used it, but I cannot recall.
Cannot recall. Okay. So have you worked on the Streams API or how is
Yes,
it?
I have used. I have used Stream APIs
Okay. So
a
now
lot of
tell
time.
me if there is a list of an employee, okay, employee table. There is an employee table which has different columns in it, and it has duplicate records also, right? What I want you to do is tell me the syntax you will be using to filter out duplicate records in that employee table. What Steam syntaxes you are going to write?
Say we have a list of employees, right? So list dot stream dot. We can
Excellent.
either use the map filter. We
Map
dot
filter.
filter.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. Very nice. So you said you did work with Java 8, 7, 8, 11, and 17. So Java 8 to 17, what are the major changes you saw or what are the major features added?
I could recall most of the features were same from 8 to 17,
Of
but
course, yeah,
I
the
think
fundamental foundation is same, but there are a couple of new features added in Java 17.
reports were there, and it's all of
Record
a
is
sudden
definitely
we
yeah,
was,
yeah.
yeah.
The record function is definitely there. So you are consuming Java 17 services, or you are just you have just migrated to Java 17. How was your experience?
Yeah, we migrated to Java 17 because of these Spring Boot dependencies. I think three require Spring Boot 3 and above
Okay. Okay.
required us to migrate to Java 17.
You talked about Spring Boot dependencies, so I got one question. Can you tell me what are the differences between @controller, @repository,
At the rate,
or
at the rate,
REST controller? So just differentiate all these three.
These are the controllers at the rate rest controller, and the at the rate rest controller is the front controller of all
Mm-hmm.
the API. All the requests are being
Correct.
handled through that class wherever this annotation is
Mm-hmm.
specified. And at the repository is for the transaction management at the
Excellent.
level.
Dow layer level. Okay.
Now,
Uh,
yeah.
how do you design REST API using Spring Boot?
So for designing, we have uh, uh, a couple of patterns we can follow. Uh, Go with the DAO layer, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a transaction management transaction, if you are communicating with the DB, go with the DAO layer, create the entity class, create the POJO classes, move to the service, define the POJO relationship between these two,
Mm-hmm.
and create the repository classes, the
Okay.
JPA repository,
Very nice.
and
Very
then
nice. So, how will you secure your API in this situation now?
so for securing the APIs, we use this Spring security, right? So in the configuration, we define the beans and like role-based authentication, right? So in the configurations, we specify the filter authentication methods, and there we extract the JWT token, the
Mm-hmm.
token which we receive
Very
from
nice.
the authentication server.
So, how would you differentiate JW? I mean, if I ask my question in different way, when do you think to use JWT tokens? When do you think to use Auth2 protocols?
Auth Auth2 protocol is like a single sign-on application. So
Mm-hmm.
for the external application, that validates, right? The external
Correct.
like
Correct.
Google,
Correct.
and JWT token has its internal what you call header payload and
Mm-hmm.
the signature
Okay. How
that
would you
again the authentication.
differentiate authentication and authorization?
So authentication is just authenticate the user that this user is valid and he can enter. But whether that user is authorized to have the access to particular APIs, whether he can execute an API or not, that is defined by the authorization.
Okay. Okay. Tell me one thing.
Mm, yes.
Have you implemented or have you designed? Have you been in a situation where you have implemented the entire life cycle SDLC of an application? Like you have done end-to-end testing, you have done end-to-end deployment, you have done end-to-end development, everything.
Yes, I have done.
You have done it.
In these projects itself, we had a couple of applications. The service APIs, there were, I mean, from the scratch development. So we
Okay.
created the microservices from the scratch. We created the service. There were some scenarios where we had the inter-services communications as well. I mean,
Okay.
one service communicating with the other. So for that, we had use asynchronous and
Very
synchronous
nice.
approaches.
Very nice. Tell me, how do you set up a CI/CD pipelines?
Uh, Setting up a CI/CD pipeline. Uh, I mean, we have the GitLab CI.yaml,
Mm-hmm.
and there
Correct.
we provide a couple of stages and all
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. YAML file is
pipeline stages.
most important part. Yeah. Okay, so if you could talk about more on your Kubernetes and OpenShift experience again, how you were deploying your application in OpenShift. This is very critical things because they are heavily looking for someone with OpenShift and Kubernetes, right? So you have done fantastic. The last guy who has been hired on this role has done fantastic on OpenShift and Kubernetes. That's what I want to understand.
Okay, okay. So for Rosa, we had used a platform as a service application called Rosa. So
Mm-hmm.
Rosa has an inbuilt Kubernetes facility. So Kubernetes is nothing but the orchestration tool that manages the life cycle of the Dockerized image that we push into the
Mhm.
Kubernetes platform. So, what we mean with the orchestration means that it manages the scaling up of the pod and scaling up the application, horizontal scaling or the vertical scaling of the application. Automatically add new pods based on the traffic requirement. Uh, and we had a couple of to manage all this. We have a couple of OCP script files, uh, OCP config.yaml.
Great, great, great. And when are you available for an interview? So the first round would be 30 minutes video call, right? But final round would be in person at Chicago office. What is your plan in terms of relocation? Because from Bloomington, you are definitely not going to relocate, right? So how is your family dependencies, your kids, if you could talk more? Because I want to cover all the angles, because I personally feel he is also relocating from Bloomington, so you must relocate. You cannot commute 2 hours every day. And this project is 5 days on site. So just we all should be on the same page. I would like to get more understanding from you.
Yeah, definitely. Based on the location, right? I could relocate to one of the suburb of Chicago, and
Naperville should
for a
be the
couple of
ideal
days.
solution, ideal location.
Yeah, there are a couple of, I think, Pontiac is there nearby to Chicago, and a couple of other places.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, First priority is for some days I will travel
Commute.
up and down
Okay. Okay.
daily, commute daily, and after my lease is over,
So when is your
uh,
lease expiring?
uh, next month, and it is still
Okay, yeah, that should have. So it will take another month to onboard you, right? Because you are on B2 right now. The change of status have to be filed. Then you cannot start unless you have the physical copy of your H1B. At least we should have it. So it will take another month and half to get you started, right? So till that time, you will end up with your lease, right? So I think we are in a very good situation. Any you have kids also?
no kids as of now.
So your family is here in Chicago or you are staying alone?
Hi, me and my wife are staying together.
So she's working anywhere?
She is not working.
So probably relocation shouldn't be a problem as long as you are saying that your lease will be expiring next month. So I think we are in good shape. I will assist you in order to relocate. I mean, we are not going to provide any relocation assistance in terms of money, but apart from money, anything that you need, we will definitely help you. We have many candidates who are working in Naperville area, Chicago area, downtown area. So and again the our own community, right? So
Yeah.
so probably that shouldn't be a problem. So your relocation, I will facilitate. I don't think this could be a red flag or hindrance. Other than that, any offers you have in line, any final round of interview you have, anything that you want to bring it up?
No, nothing as of now.
Nothing as of now. Okay. Uh, I think we are good in this case. Let me go ahead and try to set up your interview as quickly as possible. We'll get back to you. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mohammed.
No
Thank
problem.
you.